Good afternoon, this is the Little Willow, and today we're going to be doing what I do for my shop is these rings. You can see it. And what you're going to need is a 20 gauge wire. Use this, but if you have nickel allergies, I would just go with a regular copper wire. And this is 20 gauge. And then you're going to need some small balls. These are a size 4 millimeter. You're going to need some spacers, and I like to use either the silver or gold spacers. It doesn't really exactly matter what size. There's different kinds. Here's gold. Okay. You're going to need some beads. So you can use all kinds of beads as long as the hole is big enough. So make sure your hole is a bit bigger. If you try to do a fresh water pearl, you would have to use a much smaller wire. Okay, so even on plastic beads, make sure the hole is really big. And so we're going to go ahead, and I'm just going to go ahead and pick out a bead. And I will put it in my tray here. We'll pick out an orange bead. And I usually get silver or copper or silver or gold wire. And then I will pick out a couple spacers. You can get like some antique looking spacers. And then I usually will pick out a couple balls. And I think we'll pick out some of these softer colors. And then you basically want to make sure that you have some type of tool like this. You can do round nose. I use this one. I've used it for a long time. It has your cutter on it, and this also is very helpful to wrap the wire. I like to have 2 mandrels, but you don't need to have 2, but I like to have 2. And this one is very helpful because it has the niches in it to help to pull the wire where you want it to be. And then we have a sizer, so you can figure out what size you need to have for the finger. Okay, so we're going to be using this. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut off a piece of wire. Now, I haven't sized or measured out the wire yet, but you basically generally need, I would say, let's see there, that's probably 1 inch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 inches, and it might be over the amount that you really need. And so all we're going to be doing is we're going to be threading the beads onto the wire and the spacers, just like that. Sorry I haven't been with you guys for a while. I've been so busy. So here we are. So what I do with my mandrel is I place it up to my stomach here, and then I will look for the size I want, and I'll go half a size bigger, because what happens is it shrinks a little. So I'm going to go to a 7.5, and I'm going to put my thumbs around, and I'm going to pull the wire around, and I'm going to pull the wire around, and you're just basically pulling it around the mandrel. And then you're going to pull it tight, and you're going to wrap it around the big bead, and you're going to wrap it around the other way, the other side, around the big bead. And then I wrap it around the smaller bead, and the same with this side. And then you're going to need your tool, and you're going to need to pull it tight and then put it between your fingers to hold it there. And you're going to do the same thing here, except for you're going to hold it with your thumb. And then you're going to complete it right here. Now you can pull it off your mandrel very gently, and you might want to cut it down to a more easier size to get through the ring, because you're going to have to go through it. So you're going to have to wrap it around that one piece of wire, and then you're going to do it to the other side. Okay, and so now what I do is I pull tight and I kind of give it a good pinch, and I pull tight and give it a good pinch, and that way it won't move around so much. And then you are just basically wrapping that wire around, and you're going to cut off any little ends, and you want to try to get that end so it's pushed in there really well, so it doesn't poke or hurt anybody. And you want to do the same thing with this side. So you want to make sure that there's nothing poking anybody. And so now why I like to have two of them, because this one's rounder and smooth. This one has little notches, so you can see it keeps you from doing stuff. But this is the smoother one, and I like to put it on there, and I will stretch it to the size that I wanted it to. So it did shrink a bit, but when you get it stretched to that size, it will lock all these beads in, and that's kind of important to do. And so that's how I make my rings for my shop. And that's what it looks like. Thank you for joining me, and there's all kinds of wire out there. Some you can get actual gold wire. You can get a flatter one. You can get different styles. I generally use a 20 gauge, but I've seen people use other gauges. It's fun to play around, so check it out. And if you have any questions, leave me a nice comment. Don't leave me anything that's cruel. Anyways, thank you for joining me, and we will see you again. Have a great day.